All right, how we doing? Let's talk about this new Kublai album, Exhibition of Prowess. I just recorded a full album reaction on the DTL R&R channel, so if that's a thing you like, link for it should be down below. If it's not, just type in DTL R&R. That shit pops up right away. So if you want to watch me listen to the music. If not, hang out here. We'll talk about the album. So Exhibition of Prowess came out. I just listened to it. Full disclosure, this is not like a definitive, I know what I'm fucking talking about. I listened to the album once. This is just first initial impression and general reaction to the album. Out of the gate, I was a little bit bummed out by the sheer fact that it was only like 10 songs. I've already heard 3 of them, and it only topped out at like 23 minutes. But I think that just comes from me being such a big Kublai fan, which, full disclosure, is going to be an incredibly biased review. They're my favorite band. But, you know, music came out. I'm a music channel. We're talking about music, so I'm just letting you know. Some people don't let you know they're biased. Some people don't let you know they're incredibly biased for one band. I'm letting you know that right out of the gate. Kublai Khan's my favorite band, and I've been very excited this album. So I think by like my sheer love of the band, it was me being a little bit greedy. You know, like, give me a few more songs. But after I listen to it, I go, no, that was a really good amount of songs. I think it's also, too, when you're heavy like this, musically and lyrically, you know, the music was very heavy. The lyrics were very deep and emotional and heavy as well. And I think it's actually smarter to, you know, just chill out around 25, 30 minutes. Because honestly, like more than like an hour of this would be emotionally exhausting. You know, it's because it's a lot. So it's actually probably smart to keep it down to about, I think it topped out at 23 minutes. I think the only part that bummed me out was I was like, okay, I've heard 3 of these songs already. Now, you know, it helps that one of them's Theory of Mind, which is quite possibly my favorite song, like right now, ever. I don't know ever, but it's like currently my favorite song. So I can listen to that over and over again. Low Tech goes real hard. I can listen to that over and over again. But, you know, so that my initial impression out of the gate, not enough songs, but that immediately sort of melted away because the new songs that they do have on here really show the fuck up. The one that was the most interesting that kind of stood out, I saw a lot of people talk about this on Twitter, stood out a lot, was the song X, which is you know, Kublai Khan's first straight edge song, which was interesting. And it kind of, there was like kind of an irony that it had such an impact on people because I think it is like with a lot of straight edge bands, they really go like, oh wait, has 5 minutes passed? I'm straight edge and fuck you if you're not straight edge. You know, you get a lot of indignation from them towards people who aren't straight edge and shit like that. They love to like let you know they're throwing X's on their hands. They're doing all that shit. And it's like sometimes you can just not drink. You know what I mean? So I think it was a little bit, there was a certain level of irony in the fact that you're like, yeah, dude, some people just don't talk about it all the fucking time. It's not like they're key component of their personality. But at the same time, I respect if, well, I mean, it makes sense. I don't think you can be, shout out, you know, I'll be a little sus for a second. Shout out to Matt Honeycutt and how fucking jacked he is. It's like, I don't think you can be that jacked and just be fucked up all the time. So it's like, it's not, after thinking about it, it's not as surprising. I don't think it's as surprising it shouldn't be as surprising as it is to like a lot of people and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was cool. That was like a different side of Kublai Khan you don't normally see. I think a lot of people would have just assumed, you know, it's like, oh, these are, you know, they're party guys. They're probably drinking a bunch and getting fucked up and doing shit like that. And it's like, no, they're actually, you know, oh shit, they're actually like they like, I don't know if the whole band is, but you're like, it'd be crazy to just go like, oh, Kublai Khan's a straight edge band. But regardless, so that was probably the most, that song probably stood out the most just out of the gate. But there was a lot of other songs. My favorite lyrically was the song Mud. I had a lot to, I kind of go way more, I go a lot deeper into it in the actual album reaction, so I won't waste too much time on that in here. But just generally speaking, lyrically, I was like shocked that, you know, you ever just listen to a song? This is gonna sound corny, but you know when you listen to a song and you're just like, hey, do you know me? Because it's like too many things are lining up, and I had a big moment like that listening to that song. So lyrically, Mud was connecting to me. Musically, the song that stood out the most was 972. They had a big the whole song was real good, but I think the shining part of that song was the end where they have this long crazy build up, and then they just hit you with one of the best two-step parts I ever heard. Like I was getting deep into it on the album reaction where I could just see, because they're going to be playing bigger theaters and shit like that, I could just see them hitting this and just, because a lot of times at hardcore shows, there's the pit in the middle and then everyone else is kind of standing around, and then you have people off to the side and the front who are moving a little bit too. But usually like the back half of the show and stuff is people just kind of stand there and whatever. But once this two-step part at the end of the song, I was like, I could see the majority of the fucking theater or wherever they're playing, arena, wherever they end up getting to. I could just see that whole motherfucker go off. It's a real big, it sounds like it could be a real big moment for them live that everyone's just going to go fucking nuts. There's a lot of other good shit. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I was laughing. I forget if it was Cannibal or Darwinism. I made a comment on that one where I was like, oh yeah, this one's just gonna be everyone's. This is the audio they're gonna use on everyone's weightlifting TikToks from now on, shit like that. So there's a lot of good shit. Like I said before, the music goes hard. It's definitely it reminds you of old Kublai, but they're definitely doing this shift into new avenues and stuff. I forget which song it was, but there was one. I want to say it was X, maybe. No. Maybe it was Hopeless. I can't remember which one it was, but there was one song that had like a long guitar intro on it that you don't really hear on Kublai a lot of times. And then, yeah, something was going on during Hopeless Fate with the Jamie Josta feature. Something was going on that where I was just hearing like sort of guitar, because Kublai has a very distinct guitar sound. So on Hopeless Fate, I was hearing a lot of guitar riffs like you don't normally hear in Kublai and shit. So they definitely stuck to the tried and true elements that has everyone fucking with the band, but they're showing a good sort of shift into having a more varied sound. I think that would be one valid critique of Kublai, where they kind of sound this, like the past couple albums, they kind of just like recycle the same sound over and over again. Now, guys like me don't give a fuck because that's a good fucking sound. So you could just keep doing that and I'll be happier than a pig in shit, dude. But yeah, hearing sort of because I think Kublai was one of those bands. I could be wrong, but I believe they were one of those bands that were kind of like bouncing around a lot. Like they're one of those bands that don't really acknowledge the first 2 or 3 albums. Like I've seen them live a couple times. I've seen a bunch of live footage, and yeah, I don't really think they play much. So yeah, they start off with Youth War, balancing survival and happiness, and then New Strength. But I'm pretty sure live they barely play anything off those 3 albums. There may be like 1 or 2. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think there's like 1 or 2 they might hit. Like Eyes Up, The Guilty Dog, shit like that. But besides that, yeah, I don't think they play anything off Youth War. Yeah, but besides that, like their live show is basically Nomad, Absolute, and The Lowest Form of Animal EP. And I think now, they spent those albums sort of honing in on their more current sound. And now that they've honed in on it and they have like a stronger foundation for the band, they're going to go full steam ahead and now start being a little bit more adventurous with their sound. Not saying this album was crazy adventurous of a shift up, but there were noticeable changes that you're like, okay, I think in the next album or 2, we could see a substantially different Kublai going on. But, yeah, what else did I say? Yeah, music was great. Lyrics were deep and fun and really like thought-provoking and stuff like that. Added a good sort of juxtaposition to that sort of meathead caveman style that, some of the less generous critics would hit them with, those critiques they would hit them with. I like how Matt's lyrics sort of go contrary. Like on the surface, they work really well, but if you really dig into them, a lot of them kind of go contrary to the sort of public-facing vibe that the band has, musically speaking. And yeah, what else? There's one other thing I feel like there was one other thing. I don't know. It's really good. I think if you're not a Kublai fan, if you just like heavy music, I think you're going to fuck with it. Like, full disclosure, like I said, I'm very biased. I like them a whole hell of a lot. And, yeah, go check out the album reaction. I think that's good. Whatever I didn't say. I'll probably say it again. I'll probably say it later on a podcast or something. So, yeah, thanks for checking this out. I love you guys. Have a good one. Be about a peace.